Hi guys, it's Deni. As always, finding something to play with friends is an unrealistically difficult task. One doesn't like this, another one doesn't like that, and the third one has a weak computer, can't pull anything. I understand, I'm often in this situation myself. But nevertheless, somehow we find cool games that you can ride in co-op. Well, until the whole crowd goes to BDO or Apex. Today we will omit them and talk about cooperative novelties. Click on the like, click on subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and let's go! Do you miss adrenaline and dynamic gameplay? The perfect place to get it all? Good old Crossout. Tense battles, dozens of different vehicles, and hundreds of parts for their customization are waiting for you. You can make a powerful, bulletproof tank and destroy your enemies just by the look of it. Or make something smaller, but fast, and get in the back of unsuspecting enemies. In any case, Crossout is the best place to show everyone who is a real pro. Download the game at the link in the description. Let's start with Achilles' release. This is an isometric action RPG inspired by the Souls-like genre and old-school hack and slash games. The protagonist, Achilles, finds himself at the center of a battle between Hades and Ares. During his journey through the mythical lands, we will fight with enemies. We will be able to create new weapons and equipment using found items. And if you bring them to Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths, you can directly powerful something to craft. This game looks simple, but in practice, not so much. You are waiting for a lot of skill-based battles, RPG elements, and resource management, like energy. And enemies do not have any specific animations and attack randomly, which is doubly fun. And if you add co-op, which is also here, the output will be a really cool game. And here's the sequel to For the King, which came out the same as the first part, without any major changes. According to the plot, Queen Rosamond is now allied with evil forces and throws her subjects into the mines of Farul. We don't like this arrangement, so we need to get out and punch her in the face. Gameplay-wise, it combines board game mechanics with roguelike elements. We gather a bunch of friends in a team of 12 unique characters and go to random maps. The developers have improved the battles a bit, and now tactics and positioning play an important role. In general, it's fun, and visually it has its own style too. In general, you probably know about the Outlast Trials, but the fact that the game has finally released the 4th program, I don't think so. Those who don't know, programs here are called full maps and levels. And those who are not familiar with the game at all, I explain. Here, Corporation Murkoff conducts experiments, brainwashing and controlling people's consciousness. You become prisoners, locked in the facility, and must pass the test alone or with friends. The main task is to survive and get out. In the game, it is important to be able to avoid enemies, hide, and try to escape. The word try is important, yeah? What's cool is that they've added pumping, where you'll find it a little easier to deal with the difficulties, especially if each of your friends has different talent branches. Honestly, the game is just great. I recommend it as much as possible. And this is the new HumanitZ. Here, civilization has been destroyed by zombies, and people have almost died out. We get into the open world, where we can decide whether to go to the city for supplies and risk meeting a crowd of zombies, or prefer to survive in the countryside, hunting and farming. Basically, total freedom, as you can imagine. There are many places to explore, from the wilderness to cities with working machines, which in case of what and steal can be stolen. Survival naturally can be a pack. Plus, it is important to explore different ruins and collect resources for survival. Zombies are different. There is a character pumping and a mountain of different RPG elements, which you will probably learn about. In general, it is really cool. Well, here we have an updated version of ARK game called Ark Survival Ascended, which offers a new level of realism and visual effects thanks to the porting to Unreal Engine 5. We, as before, wake up on a mysterious island where we will have to survive among dinosaurs and other creatures. In fact, it will be the most complete set of everything that is in Ark, and if you are a fan of it, you should be satisfied. But it has one but, and that's where the developers shit themselves. And it's not so much the crooked optimization of the game, which has been like that all the life of Ark, but the price, because the developers first released the game at one price, and after a conditional half an hour raised it 3 times. I don't really want to understand what and how, because I'm not a fan of the Ark in general, but the game was shat on for it. And PayDay 3 slowly begins to grow content, start working, and get out of the shitty reviews. As before, here we have to plan robberies, collect money, weapons, and other valuables, as well as improve skills and upgrade weapons. We have complete freedom of choice in how to commit robberies, secretly or with the use of weapons, release or use hostages, act alone, or with your friends. Naturally, it is better to go with your mates in Discord, because with random players, you should not play this game, and otherwise, exactly the same as the second part, only in a new wrapper. How about something a little more interesting? This is Void Crew. Here is the future, and humanity unites to cope with the enemies, the Devourers, and we together with a team of up to 4 people must restore order in the galaxy. The main quest is to race through space on ships and different missions to pass. At the same time, the crew will have to cope with various obstacles, including asteroid fields, solar flares, and hostile aliens. In practice, this is a death simulator, because your mates will die often. Controlling the ship, we can shoot at enemies, troubleshoot, collect equipment, and inspect the wreckage of other starships. Teamwork is important for success. We have to choose a role here and distribute tasks between crew members. We ride, by the way, in cooperative up to 4 people. In short, it's like Baratruma or Sea of Thieves, but only in space. Descend from space to the sea, a thrilling game of survival and exploration in a post-apocalyptic world. After most of the land has been covered by water, we will explore flooded cities, collect resources, build bases, trade, fight, and survive. Of the cool stuff, we'll be head-to-head into flooded skyscrapers, nuclear power plants, and subways. We can even build bases in different places, protect them from enemies with high walls, traps, and artillery. Defend them from who? Everyone's dead. Well, not really. There's a carload of mutants, pirates, and other villains ready to destroy your base. It's interesting. Baby, our love is so blinding. Shall we hit someone with a chainsaw? Take on the role of one of the infamous family members or their victims in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, an asymmetrical third-person horror game based on the groundbreaking and iconic 1974 horror film. In the role of the victim, you must use your wits and stealth to avoid being seen by family members, and also find the tools that will eventually lead you to freedom. And as the killers, I don't need to tell you what you have to do. There's a chainsaw, there's a friend's belly, and they really want to play with each other. And this game offers to test your friendship to the limit. We will have to solve puzzles together, which requires teamwork, communication, and trust in each other. And it's really hard to trust a friend. In this part of the famous series, we will have to explore an abandoned amusement park, where you are waiting for complex tasks, which can only be solved with the active cooperation of 2 people. The game provides walkie-talkies for communication between players, therefore Discord knocked out and fully immersed in the atmosphere. By the way, it is important to note that this game works only in cooperative mode, so both players must have a working microphone, because without it is simply no way, and random players you will not find. And so the canon, one of the best parts of the series. Although there is not a part, there is a masterpiece. My Hero Academy is a really cool cartoon, but what if you stuck heroes and villains in a battle royal for what? That's where they took it and shoved it in. Our task, as always, is to survive. Use communication, tactics, and synergy quirks with your team of 3 to become the last survivor of this 24-person battle. Choose familiar characters, divided into 5 archetypes. You know, the tanks, the healers, and all that stuff. Each character's strengths depend on their unique quirk. Find items, interact with residents and defeat enemies to improve your abilities and gain an advantage over other teams. As you gain experience and complete missions, unlock new characters. Yes, they are, if anything, not all available at once. They open up a little at a time. The overall thing is not bad, but a little strange. You can try it if royal battles are not boring. And lastly, I will tell you about the game About Bob, who can jump on platforms and hit faces with a stick. This is his main quest, jumping across worlds and punching faces. That said, the worlds you can explore are set in different historical periods, the Viking Age, piracy, feudal Japan, and so on. Each world has unique mechanics, items, and enemies. Game modes, by the way, are also a lot, from single player to co-op for 4 people. We collect an arsenal of weapons, shields, and items, and run a pack of enemies to destroy, perform quests, pump up, and so on. By the way, the game has some historical narrative and teaches something, with a stretch, but at least it tries. But so cool thing, like most of today's games, so I hope you found something cool for you today. Click on like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm with you as always, Deni, and have a good day.